Hello, Julie. Welcome to the live. Thank you for being here. Right at the start of the live. I'm just gonna wait a couple more minutes to see who else joins, and then start with talks about what happened in the market today. Okay, welcome everyone who's just barely joining the live. Welcome. Thank you for guys for being here. If you're returning, that's awesome. So thank you for coming to this live and learning a little bit about stocks every day. Uh, some of you guys seem like that already trade, and I don't know how much experience you have. The whole purpose of me doing these type of lives is to try to educate some of you guys who are trying to enter the market and are planning to buy stocks in the near future, either for trades or for long term investing. So so that's what I'm here for. Can here to hear your opinion. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm gonna share a couple of news that came out today, and it's all connected to the market. I mean, some of it leans more towards the housing market, but it's everything connected to the stock market, which is what I really enjoy doing. So for all of you that are just barely joining the live, my name is Gerardo. I am a full-time teacher, so I teach at a high school. I do on the side, I do this, which is stock trading. I do swing trades. I'm more of a swing trader rather than a a day trader. So day trader, I don't have the time to do that, so I just stick with swing trading. And I also invest in the long term, which means I have a separate portfolio where I put in money, and I don't even look at the price of the market. I just put in money and then buy stocks, and not planning to cash out that money until probably 5 or 10 years from now. So that's my plan for my long term portfolio. My other portfolio, the short term, that one I do use for swing trades and to try to make some money. Every couple of weeks or whenever the market or whenever the stocks hit my goal, and that's what I use most of the time. But the other one, the long term, I don't even touch it. So thank you guys for joining the live. Julie, thank you for being here. Cordero, Tony, and El Bla, Esteban, Benjamin. I don't know if you guys have been here before. If this is the first time that you guys joined the live, so I appreciate it. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. I hope that the content that I have to share with you is of a little bit of guidance or use for you guys. And if you guys are experts, maybe we have time. We can bounce off a little bit of information and some feedback that you guys have on what happens in the market every day. I'm here Monday to Friday, 9 to 11. Sometimes I stream on the weekends, but I try to stick with Monday through Friday, just to kind of disconnect a little bit, because you do need that. You need to, because this could be very addictive. The stock market could be very addictive to the point where you just want to hear news every day, all day, and that's not very healthy. So you need to be able to disconnect a little bit. I've been very connected for the past couple weeks, um, so weekends are my days off, where I try not to think about what's going on in the economy, what's going on in the world, or anything that really affects the market. So thank you guys again for being here, and I'm gonna go ahead and get started with the live. So hope you guys enjoy the content today, and whatever questions you guys have here, go ahead and drop them. I will read all your questions. I try to do that every day because I value your time, and I value the fact that you're giving me some of your time to be here in the live. So don't forget to drop the likes. That's the only prize for being in the live. And if you haven't followed me yet, go ahead and hit the follow button in my profile, and I'll try to well, actually, I do add videos every day in the morning, just to kind of give you a little insight of what is to be expected during the market. So let's go ahead and get started. So again, Julie, welcome. Thank you for being here. And WFA, if you had to say a number, how much you think someone needs to be a full-time investor? What do you mean a number? WFA, like how much money you need to be an investor? To be an investor, you don't need a set amount. You could do it with $50. You could do it with $100, and just put it into an account. And well, first of all, you have to open a broker's account, whether you use Fidelity or Charles Schwab or Robinhood. And then once you open the broker's account, then you buy a stock for the long term, and then you don't touch it until 10 years from now, 20 years from now, and that's how your money grows. But you have to add money every now and then, like every week, whenever you get paid, whenever you are in a situation that allows you to put in some money into that account, then um, that's how you invest and become an investor. Now, if you're talking about trading, that's a whole different thing. Trading means that you're gonna be buying and selling stocks, every day or every week or every month. For that, you do need, if you're planning to do it often, if you're gonna be a day trader, you need a big amount. I think you have to have about $25,000 to be able to trade as many times as you like. You can do it with $100 or $200, but whatever broker you use, they're gonna mark you as a day trader. So just look a little bit more information about that. If that's, I don't know what you're interested in or what your plan is, whether to be an investor or a trader. Esteban HTX, you trading Tesla? No. No, I'm not doing Tesla. Problem with Tesla is that it's a stock that's very expensive right now, and the PE ratio is expensive. Not the stock. It has a lot of potential, but the PE ratio, it's just way up high. So I'm waiting for it to correct a little bit more, and then maybe enter into some position. So I would not hesitate to enter into a position at 200, 220. It was there like 2 weeks ago. So if it does drop, then I probably do that again. I have no clue how to trade. Would love to learn more. So Julie, so here's the first thing, and it's not gonna cost you anything. Okay, here's the first step to trade before you even learn how to read charts. Because I know you grabbed the book that I sent you on how to read charts. So even before you do that, just so that you can get your feet wet, um, I would download a broker. You can just Google and ask Google what's a good broker if you have no idea why. I have three that I've used that I'm familiar with, which is Charles Schwab. That's one. I can show you that on the screen. So let me put it here. Okay, so there's Charles Schwab. This is what it looks like. You go to this website, you open a broker's account, an individual broker's account, and then it's just gonna ask you for your name, basic information. There is Fidelity. That's another good broker that you can use. Again, they all do the same thing. And then there's Robinhood. Robinhood has an app that is very user friendly. So you could use any one of those brokers. Okay, up to you. You could just look up some information, and you choose which one you prefer to use, which one you think, or you can watch some reviews, and based on the reviews, you can choose one of those brokers. So that would be step one. So I'll start there. And then after you start, then we can talk about what kind of trader you want to be. Um, let's see. Yeah, first time, brother. Thanks. Yeah. Well, awesome, man. Thank you for being in the channel. If you haven't followed me yet, follow me. I'm here every Monday through Friday, 9 to 11, just to talk a little bit about the stock market, the news, all the information I have, and what to expect for the next day. Van, thank you for the follow. Thoughts on yield max ETFs. Typically ETFs. I don't know which one this is, bro. I haven't looked at that ETF. I try to stick with S&P 500, the QQQs, the good ones, and I don't know what that is. But usually ETFs tend to pay off in the long term. That is if you're planning to invest and not touch that money in 5, 10, 20 years. How much do you profit every month average? Well, It's hard to give you a an average. I'll tell you my positions right now. So right now I am invested in Nvidia. Okay, Nvidia has earnings next week, and I'm trying to get out of that position at my target goal, which is at around 140. So right now Nvidia is at, see, I think tonight it closed at 135. I want to say. Uh, Yeah, 135, 135.57. So it looks like it wants to break that line. I mean, you guys, even if you're not experts, right? The common sense is if a stock is trying to is touching a number, let's call it that. If it's touching a certain amount several times that you guys see here, let me make it a little bit bigger. So if it's touching right here, right? And it's touching again right there. And each one of these candles represents one day. So on Wednesday of last week, it tried to break that resistance. That's what it's called when it doesn't go past that amount, no, a resistance. So it hit the resistance here. It hit the resistance there. Again on when was this? On Friday, it hit the resistance again, and then today it hit resistance again in the same spot. So it's trying to get out of that spot and break through, because there's, I mean, if you look at the charts, there are no signs that it's pulling back. It tried to do that on the news from Friday when Moody downgraded the credit of the United States. It tried to do a little pullback today in the morning, but because there have been really good news on Nvidia, and then plus they have an event this week that starts tomorrow and ends Thursday or Friday. Um, that usually pumps the stock because they release new products. Um, so yeah, so that's my position on Nvidia, and if it gets to 140, my average or my profit in this stock will be about 20K. um, and that's because I enter into this position since, I mean, I haven't sold, and I entered into this position since it was here at $90. I bought some more at 93, and then I bought some more at 105 and 110. So my average is about $112, somewhere around there, because I have bought very expensive when it was dropping, like a 120. So my average is like 112. So right now I'm in the positive about 20K, but that's a special case, right? I don't. I mean, I wish I made that much money every time I trade it, but it doesn't work that way. Sometimes it's 20K, sometimes it's just a couple thousand every month, so it varies. Um, Julie, what was the article you posted earlier today? Bonds. I have my long-term portfolio, but I want to do trading on another portfolio. How do I start? Okay, so let me answer the question. So this is an interesting question for all of you guys that are in the stock market and that heard the news on Friday, right, from Moody's. So on Friday, okay, and I'll try to explain it step by step. I'll try to do it very quick for those of you that that are here in the live. So on Friday, Moody is, I'm gonna write some stuff up here. So if you guys see like some writing up here, it's because I'm using like a tablet here. So on Friday, Moody, which is a credit agency, they rated the credit of the United States. Well, they downgraded the credit of the United States, which is equally. I explained this yesterday and last week. This is equal to you maybe not making a payment, or maybe you getting a lot of debt, so your credit drops, right? When you have a lot of debt, like car payments and house payments and credit cards, because you have all of this stuff open, your credit usually tends to drop. So basically, Moody, what they did is they downgraded the credit of the United States. Okay. Now, the credit of the United States doesn't work as your credit or my credit. The way it works is that they have different tiers, and the United States was at a tier that was called Triple A, and they were downgraded to a tier that's called Double A1. Okay, so that's what happened with Moody, and basically they did that um, because of all the debt that the United States has, and the basically the income that they produce every year is not enough, or it doesn't grow at the same pace as the debt grows. I don't know if that makes sense. So every year we have more debt in the United States than the money that we produce in a year. Okay, I hope that makes sense to you. So same thing when you, I mean, I keep using this example, but just so you guys understand exactly what it means. Um, if you make, let's just have a round number, $10,000 a year, right? And you get a credit card that has a limit of 1,000, and during that year you keep getting credit cards, you take out a loan for a car, you take out a loan for a house, and now you owe, $100,000, but you keep making $10,000. Okay, so when that stuff happens, I mean, your credit drops, and obviously nobody else is gonna let you borrow money, or they're gonna be a little bit more tight with how they lend you money because of all the debt you have, similar to what happened to the United States. Now on Friday, if you guys were here in the live, I said this stuff happened 2 years ago in 2023 with another credit agency that also downgraded the United States. Now back then, they only the market only dropped about 1.8%, I want to say, in the S&P 500. So um, I put the news here on the screen. So my my educated guess was that the market wasn't going to react as aggressively. I did say the market is due for a pullback, and this is a perfect excuse for that little pullback, right? Because the markets don't just go green all the time. They have to go green and then pull back and then go green and pull back so that you can have a healthy market. And that's exactly what happened on Friday. It pulled back at the end of the day, and then today it tried to pull back a little bit, but because the market has been recovering so much for the past week, 2 weeks, it was just not enough to pull the market down. And look at where the market closed. I mean, it was pretty. The close, I think, on the S&P was pretty close to Friday. Okay, so it didn't really do anything. That those bad news didn't really affect the market at all. The spike closed at 594. So it didn't do anything at all. So now, going back to the question that Julie made, she said, why is this? Why was this bad news? You see, guys, here the 30-year. Let me go to the article. The 30-year Treasury yield tops 5%. What does that mean, and how does that affect me? Well, that affects mainly um, if you're planning to buy a house. How does that affect me? Well, in the investment world, there are two different types of investments you can. I mean, there are many more, but let's talk about the two type of investments that are the main ones. One is the U.S. bonds, okay, and I'll explain what that is in a second. And the other one is what I like to talk about the most, which is oops, which is the stocks. Okay, so the stocks. Um, Now, the stocks, you guys know, in the stocks, you have companies like Walmart, Target, Nvidia, Microsoft. All of those companies are inside the stocks, right? Everyone follow me so far? Yeah. If you have questions, let me know and I'll explain it. Now, in the U.S. bonds, we don't have stocks. So what is in the U.S. bonds? Well, we have loans like your mortgage or your car loan or your credit card payment. All of those are inside the U.S. bonds. Now, when people invest in U.S. bonds, that's a more secure investment because the government owns the bonds. So the government says, if you give me money, if you invest in bonds, I'm going to give you. Let's just give you an example, right? The example here, the 30-year Treasury yields tops 5%. So the government says, I'm gonna give you 5%. Okay, if you buy bonds, I'm gonna give you 5% in the next 30 years. So I mean, you guys can do the math. If you invest 1,000, 5% is what, $50, um, and I'm gonna give you $50 in 30 years. That's a little bit of money, but you're talking about investors, okay, big companies that invest millions, if not billions, of dollars into this. So 5% of billions, that's quite a good amount. Um, so today it topped 5%, and you might think, well, that's a good thing. Well, no, because U.S. bonds typically move the interest rate because the government says if I'm gonna pay investors 5% for them to invest in bonds, well, I have to get that 5% that I'm paying investors from somewhere, and guess where that's gonna come from? Well, that's gonna come from you when you buy a new car, when you buy a new house or a house, when you get a credit card, and you pay the company's gonna pay the government, so the government's gonna increase their interest rate so that they can get that money to pay the investors. Does that make sense, Julie? I try to explain it in the best way possible, but I still know that this could be very confusing. Okay, so again, bonds are one type of investment. Stocks, that's a whole separate thing. Well, sometimes it's a whole separate thing. And then what happens with bonds sometimes, as you may already guess, is that um, a lot of the investors, when the stock market is really, how can I say it? Like it's really not, is volatile. So when it's moving up and down, and you have news of tariffs, you have news of a bunch of other stuff, then what happens with the stocks? So the stocks, they're right here, right? And see stocks. And investors, they put the money in the stocks because they can get a lot more profit, because if the stocks go up, they can get 10%, 20%. I mean, look at what happened with the S&P 500 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago. It was down like 25%, and now it's like 25% in the positive. Imagine 25% in a month and a half. That's never happened. Okay, it's never happened. Not It usually recovers, but not in such a short period of time, which is a month and a half. So if investors bought at the bottom, I mean, now they're 25% in the positive. So when stocks do well, most investors go here to the stocks, and they leave the bonds because their money, they can get more money in, they can get more money if they invest in stocks. So they just leave the bonds, go to the stocks. And because they are leaving the bonds, then the government says, well, now that a lot of people are leaving the bonds, how can I make it more attractive so that people come back to the bonds? Well, I gotta pay them more. So I'm gonna, instead of maybe a 3%, I'm gonna pay them maybe 4% or 5%, right? But again, like I explained earlier, the more they pay, the higher the interest rate for homes is going to be. Okay, so that's basically what happened with these news on Friday. The bonds were at 5%, which means that mortgage rates today hit about 7% again, um, which we had that a couple months ago, and it had been dropping a little bit to 6.5, 6.3, and it just went back to 7% interest rates today. I think it closed a little bit lower, but that's what really pushed the interest rates for homes. Um, so yeah, so I wanted to explain that because when I was trying to understand, this a couple years ago, I was like, wait, what does that mean? Bonds? What is that thing? And I wanted to explain it to you, all of you guys. So I hope that made sense to you. Uh, so Julie, you already have a long term portfolio. You're trying to trade. That's great. So um, if you're trying to do that, I would still suggest. Okay, I mean, you can do it however you want, but to have two separate portfolios, right? Not have it in the same with the same broker, because usually, I mean, you don't want to look at the long term unless you're just putting in money. The long term is there to stay, and then have a separate broker where you do the day trading. So, um, and here, I mean, I'll try to share as much information as I can with about trading. So let's go ahead and get back to the charts. All right, encourage. Thank you guys. Thank you for being here in the live. If you guys can share the live and hit the like button, I really appreciate it. What do you usually trade? QQQ. Esteban, I I have been staying a little bit away from ETFs, so I haven't touched the QQQ or the S&P 500 for trades. I do invest in QQQ. I have in my long term portfolio. I do have QQQ and I do have SPY. but I just put money into it. If it drops, I put money into it, and it drops again, I put more money into it, and I just don't touch it. I don't trade it. I know for trading, that is a sometimes a safer bet because these stocks tend to move a little bit slower than individual stocks. But I haven't done trading with SPY or QQQ. I am focusing right now on companies that can pay me a little bit more, which is Nvidia or Google or Amazon, like all of these companies that I know can give me a little bit more return than the S&P 500. But I do buy it. See AMD. Were you able to short AMD this morning, Jay Cordero? No, I didn't touch AMD. I don't know how did AMD do today. I didn't even check it. See AMD. I mean, it it kind of didn't really move. I think Friday closed at 117. It went down a couple bucks. So for me to short a stock, when I mean short, for those of you guys are not familiar with the term, when you short a stock means that you buy at whatever price it is, like for example AMD at 117, and then instead of me getting out of the position when it goes higher, I'm going to get out of the position when it goes lower, and that difference is what I'm going to make for each stock that I buy. Okay, that's what you call it, short. Okay, short, you bet that the stock is gonna go down. Long, you bet that the stock is gonna go up. So no, I did not short it. I'm still in a lot of positions that I'm trying to get out of. So my focus right now is with the stocks that I mentioned earlier, the Nvidia, Robinhood, not Robinhood, Amazon, and Google. Those are my three positions open right now. Oh, and United Health. I buy United Health just to see if I can do a little swing trade when it dropped. So it's been recovering. I hope I can get some money out of it. And if not, it's fine. I didn't buy that many shares. It was just kind of like a speculation to see if it would drop more or regain some territory. Um, See, I am on page 70. Wow. Julie, you're going pretty fast. I hope that all of the stuff that you're reading is making sense. Fidelity is one of the best. Yeah, for long term, yeah, you can use Fidelity. I know some people use it for investment, not for trading. Thinkorswim, Esteban. I have Thinkorswim. I prefer TradingView just because I got familiar with it first, and then I was introduced to Thinkorswim, and I looked at it and I was like, well, I already purchased this for a year, so I'm just gonna keep using it. And I mean, it kind of does the same thing. They use different information. So usually the SMAs, which are the simple moving averages, the lines that you see up here in orange and blue and red. Um, I'm sorry, orange, green, and blue. Um, Usually let me erase this. I forgot what I was gonna say. But those are different sometimes in Thinkorswim and TradingView because they track different information. So they're sometimes a little off when you compare one and the other. But I mean, for me, it works out. Robinhood is third party with delayed info. Yeah, that's why I said Robinhood could be good for like a swing trade or a long term trading. Definitely not what the pros use, especially not something that day traders use. So who said that? Brent. Yeah, Brent. So absolutely, yeah, you're totally right. For day traders, they would not use Robinhood because they get delayed information, and Robinhood doesn't have options to short, and also doesn't have hotkeys options. Not that I believe. Not that I know. Do you like Finviz? What is Finviz? Is that the social media platform? Let's see. Finviz. What's it ticker for Finviz? Maybe I can take a look at it. Weddle. What do you think about interactive brokers? Give me the ticker symbol, Esteban. I can take a look at it. I don't really trade that company, I don't know the fundamentals, so but we can look at the chart. Do you do mentors on Discord? No, Eric, I don't do mentors, and just I explained this to the live the other day. I don't have the time to do it because I have 2 hours in the morning to do swing trade, and because I have my full time job during the day, I'm a teacher, and then I leave for work, and I don't come back until 5 Pacific time. I'm in the Pacific area or Pacific time zone, and I don't have time to do those things because I'm busy with my personal life and my job, and eventually, I mean, I know I will retire um, early from my job, so hopefully before I turn 45, that's my goal, to retire and then just do this full time. And then maybe I can help other people out by doing like a mentoring one on one. What I am planning to do in the summer though, because I get the summer off, so I'm gonna have more time, is to create a group on WhatsApp. I think I like WhatsApp more than Discord. Discord has a lot of you know a bunch of stuff that you can add to it, and it could be very helpful. But I think Discord will be good enough, just so that I can share some news and stuff with people, and then just try to learn from each other. So I want to create a little community where I can help other people out, and maybe invite some people that are um, that have experience in the stock market as well. Is that a live ACC? What do you mean? What do you mean, Eric? Like what ACC? Man, I think Nvidia will go down to the 118s, possibly, Stevan, possibly, but I don't think it's gonna happen before earnings. So earnings are next week, next Wednesday, I think Wednesday 28. But I mean, it's had good news after good news. Remember last week they signed a deal with Saudi Arabia to send about 18,000 Blackwell chips to um, to Saudi Arabia, and in the works, and I'm pretty sure they'll announce that in the guidance. They will be sending thousands more to Saudi Arabia. So that is going to bring in a lot of revenue to Nvidia. Then on top of that, they mentioned that restrictions are going to be removed for some countries where Nvidia couldn't sell chips before, and they're going to be able to sell them now. So that's going to bring in even more money. So because Nvidia has really good news, I don't see it dropping to 118 now, unless there's something off with earnings, which are again next Wednesday. Then I see it hitting maybe 125, being in that range, and possibly maybe going a little bit lower than that. Silver Chris, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. And again, guys, if you guys can share the live, that'd be great. If you can tap the screen also, I like to break records every time I do a live with more than 10,000 likes. So if you guys can do that, that helps the algorithm in TikTok, so that I can get some more viewers, and also so that they TikTok knows that I'm not a bot, just and they don't cancel my stream or ban me or something. So that helps a lot with the channel that I'm trying to grow. Sober Chris, very interesting. Yeah, it makes sense to me. I'm glad. So I hope that what I explain about bonds and how that works and how that increases interest rates makes sense to you guys. Got any good options about what, Chris? Liquidate all my stuff on the push this AM, resetting things. We'll see what happens with bonds, etc. Scott, I mean, yeah, man. I mean, if you liquidated all your positions and you got profits, props to you. Congratulations, man. I hope you made some good money. Because remember, all of you guys that are planning to do this in the future, either trading or investing, this is how I like to see it, right? I heard this from a guy one time, and it just stuck with me. He said that when you're trying to get money out of the market, like make money in the market, it's like equally to you jumping into a tank of full of sharks, and you're trying to get some of their food and then come out alive. That's basically what the stock market is. You go in with your money, trying to get some money from other people, and still be profitable, right? That's what it is, and it's very hard. I mean, you can just imagine it. It's very difficult. And if you make money and you got out, even if it was a couple $100, um, that's still a profit. I mean, $200 is what people make in one day. Some people make it in less than 20 minutes doing trading. So if you got out and made some profits, but by all means, man. I mean, congratulations, Scott. What's the name of the book Julie is reading? Jay Cordero. It's called the Trading Bible. I received that book from the group that I am in, and I read it a while back, and it's a great book to get started on how to read charts. So all the stuff that you see up here, like the red candle, the green candle, the lines that you see there, like all that stuff, it explains to you different patterns. Like if you see a candle, I think I showed you this last time. It's a great example on United Health. Um, so this is what happened on United Health back in that was Wednesday of last week, no, Thursday of last week. So do you see this candle here? This candle is explained in this book. This is what we call a doji or dragonfly doji candle, and what usually, okay, not all the time. I mean, those signs are not always accurate, but usually this candle means a reversal candle, which means that if it's going down, then on the next day there are a lot of possibilities that the market is going to go up, and it's exactly what it happened with United Health, this company that lost more than 55% of its value, which is one of the biggest healthcare companies because of different problems that they've had for the past month. That candle indicated a reversal. So I mean, just look at what happened. Reversal, and then it went green on Friday. It went green today, and closed at around 315. So that book explains those little things, those little patterns, and Julie can contribute to that. I don't know if she's got into that chapter yet, but there are so many patterns, like hundreds of different patterns. This is just one of them. And once you get familiar with one, you don't forget it, and then you go on and move on to a second one, and then a third one, and you just keep memorizing all of these patterns. So when you look at the charts, you're like, okay, I can recognize this pattern. This looks familiar. I think this is what the next move is going to be. Now, does it always work? No, especially when the things that move the market or that have moved the market for the past month and or 3 months, I would say, is news on from the administration. That's what's been moving the market for the past 3 months. Okay, not really the technicals, not really news on stocks. It's just mainly macroeconomy. That's it. All right. So let's get going with the next question. Um, okay, so Nuriel, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Thank you for follow. You just trade options. That is credit card. No, I don't do options unless I trade with my own stock, like covered calls or cash secure puts. If I'm using my own money, then yes, I do options, but only those two things. I don't really do the other options where you speculate that a stock is gonna get to this point and you only pay for the premium. I don't do that. That's way too risky. You gotta be very educated on that, and I like to stick with what I know. Great fundamentals analysis sounds solid. Um Credit card, yeah. I don't know for which one, for the UNH, um, United Health. Hey man, do you invest in XRP or crypto? I don't. YBN, I don't do it. Um, just because my training is in stocks, not in crypto. Crypto's been doing pretty good. I mean, I do have a tab where I look at crypto and see where crypto is. Like right now, Bitcoin is hitting that resistance at 106. It's been there for a long time. I mean, just look at this, right? It's been hitting that resistance for a long time. But I do look at crypto, but I don't trade it just because I don't know it. I don't know the fundamentals. I don't know much about how crypto works. I know that they don't sell anything. I know that they don't have earnings reports or anything like that. So there's nothing for me to study to know where Bitcoin is gonna go. Okay, Bitcoin usually moves with the economy sometimes, with the bad news, with the good news. So I don't do that with my money. Let's see. Can you explain to the people about how important it is to understand the fundamentals um, of data, like like the companies? Yeah, I mean, I could we could look at a quick example. So for everyone here in the live, let's say let's see. Let's say that you're looking at a company, right? You're planning to buy. So I'm gonna put two companies just to look at a couple of fundamentals. I'm gonna look at two companies. I'm going to look at Nvidia because I'm invested in that company. I like that company. The company has a lot of potential. And I want to look at the PE ratio. Okay, you guys see here? I'm gonna write it up here. No, the PE ratio. So basically, this is a piece of information that you get from the company that tells you whether the company is expensive at the time, based on how much earnings they make, and or if it's a cheap company. Okay, so right now the P ratio of Nvidia, as you guys can see right here, I don't know if you guys see the number, but I'll write it down. It is at $46. So $46. I'm gonna do an even number. No. Now I'm gonna look at another company that does the same thing as Nvidia, which is AMD. Somebody asked about AMD earlier. So AMD also, they sell chips. This stock is a little bit cheaper than Nvidia right now in price, but let's look at the PE ratio. So the PE ratio is, so AMD, the PE ratio is at $85. Okay. Now what does that mean? 46 and 85. That's for Nvidia, NVDA, and AMD. No, which those companies do the same thing, right? They sell chips. Nvidia has a lot more other business, but uh, technically they do the same thing. They sell chips. Now, Nvidia's P ratio is $46, AMD's 85. What does that mean? Well, that means that for me to make a dollar in Nvidia, I have to invest I have to invest $46. So if I put in $46 in Nvidia, I'm making $1. Okay. Now, if I want to make a dollar in AMD, I have to invest 85. Does that make sense? So if you look at these two pieces of data and you say, well, Nvidia, I only have to put in $46 and I make a dollar. And AMD, I have to put in 85, so double the amount just to make $1. Then which one would you buy? Nvidia's stock is more expensive right now. I mean, if you look at AMD is 114, Nvidia is 135. So Nvidia's stock is more expensive, but the PE ratio is lower. So for me, it is cheaper to buy Nvidia because I only need to put in $46 to make a dollar than it is for me to buy AMD. Okay. So that's a good piece of information, a good fundamental that you can look at the company, whether the company is creating a lot of revenue, and based on the price of the stock, and which one it's better for me with less risk to buy at a really good price. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. If you guys are barely getting started into stocks and want to know which one is a good company, I know Microsoft is a good company, but does it have a good PE ratio right now? Is it too expensive? Compared to Apple or another company that kind of makes the same things as Microsoft. So I hope that makes sense and helps a little bit. Yeah, Cordero, good book. It explains all the parts of the candlesticks. Yep, absolutely. Where can I find this book? I'm new to all of this. I would like to learn how to read charts. iCord, you send me an email. I'm sorry, send me a message through TikTok, and I'll send you I'll send you the information. You can just send me your email, and I'll send the PDF. It was given to me for free. I'm gonna give it to you for free. So that's the only way I can share it. I mean, I don't think I can share it here. So that'll be one way to get it. What you trade? What you trade? L. Sunshine. I didn't understand that question. Credit card. Just in general, knowing how certain data could affect your trading. Angel, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Cambry, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. The Pentra, also thank you for the follow. I just joined you guys. Sorry, are you talking about Nvidia? Yeah. Period. I was talking about Nvidia, and how the or what the PE ratio is for Nvidia. Right now, it has a pretty good PE ratio. So I wouldn't say it's expensive company, but because it's been pumping and it has earnings next week, it might not be the best time to buy Nvidia. That's just me. I'm not buying any more Nvidia. I'm on the contrary. I'm trying to get out of that position that I'm in, and I'm just waiting for it to hit my target. So, based on the analysis and based on the candles, I do think that it's going to hit 140. Maybe get close to that, trying to break because it's been trying to break 135 for a long time, for almost a week. So Nvidia has an event that starts tomorrow and ends on Thursday. Usually during those events, they release new products or announce something, and that tends to pump the market. To tend to pumps Nvidia. So I'm hoping that it can get to 140. And if it doesn't get to 140, I'm gonna consider get out at 135 or 134 if it goes down a little bit. But I'm definitely not trying to play earnings, because earnings could be great, but then guidance could be not as great, and that's gonna send Nvidia down. So I'm trying to get out of that pretty soon. So thank you guys for being again in the live, and if you guys can support me with taps, give me some likes. That's the only charge. So for those of you that are interested in the book, the Trading Bible, I do have a PDF version of it. I have it in both Spanish and English, so you guys can ask me. Just send me a DM in TikTok, and give me your email. I'll send it to you for free. I sent it to you to I think like 5 people today that sent me an email yesterday. So if you guys are interested in that, by all means, I'll share it. Again, no cost. I'm not selling anything. I just enjoy doing this, and it kind of reinforces what I know. Kind of keeps me fresh. So that's what I'm doing this. Thank you guys for everyone that joined. Thank you for the likes. Again, appreciate that. If you tap the screen as I answered your question, even more appreciated. And drop the question here if you guys want to know something about the stock market, some of the news that happened today, and what to expect tomorrow. I'll talk about that a little bit towards the end of the live today. User 4240, thank you for the follow. I just joined. Sorry, okay, I answered that question. Which do you go by, P ratio or market price? Houston, P ratio always first. Two, I look at the company. What is the company doing? What are they making? Is it a good company to invest in? Does it have a plan in the future? Like, I'll give you another example. I bought Google. Right, Google, they own YouTube. They own a lot of cloud services. They own all of this online service that they provide to schools. I work at a school, so I know how much we use Google, because Google, they own Google Drive and all this stuff that a lot of schools use. So I know they create a lot of revenue. Okay, in YouTube itself, that brings a lot of revenue on ads. So they take a look at the PE ratio for Google. The PE ratio for Google is at $18. I mean, for a company that is this strong, that has a lot of services, that has a lot of plans for the future, to be $18, the PE ratio be $18, I'm like, hey man, I'm all in. I'm gonna buy some. Because I know the PE ratio is, it's a low PE ratio. The only reason why Google has been dropping is because, one, the tariffs, when all the stock market went down, and then two, Apple released some news. I think it was about a week ago or 2 weeks ago, where they said they were going to replace Google from their default browser. If you guys have iPhone, when you go to Google.com, that's usually the default browser, unless you're using something else. But typically, Google pays, I think, about 20 million or billion to Apple, so that they can be the default browser, so that they can get more money for ads and stuff like that. But anyways, Apple announced that they were going to remove Google from iPhones and make it exclusive AI search. Okay. Now that's what they said a couple weeks ago. Nothing has been confirmed. I haven't heard anything ever since. Uh, so that's when Google bought. It dipped to like 150, and that's where I bought some because I said, well, the PE ratio is great. I know the company is great, and it's gonna be here in the future. This is bad news for Google, but I'm willing to buy some at 150, considering that the PE ratio is low and the price is good. I'm just gonna buy some shares. So I bought some shares, and now it's at 166. I'm trying to get out of it at around 170. So so yeah, so that's my swing trade for Google. I think it's gonna hit that goal pretty soon as well. Uh, let's see. Is this the same as day trading? Houston, what is the same thing as day trading? Like swing trading? Day trading is when you buy one day and you sell the same day. So you sell before the market closes. So for me, I'm in the Pacific time zone. Um, so if I buy at 6:30 in the morning when the market opens, I sell before 1 o'clock which is when the market closes. Um, so that's called day trading. If you're a swing trader, that means I buy it right now, and then I don't sell until maybe a week later or 2 weeks later or a month later, whenever it makes sense for me. And I'm a swing trader. I don't do day trade. What about QFin? Period. I was thinking about buying tomorrow. Um, I mean, I can't tell you what to buy, what not to buy, but we can look at the chart. QFin, is that the ticker symbol? QFin Technology. Let's take a look at it. So I'm looking at the daily chart right now, which means if every candle that you guys see here represents one day of trading. Okay, just so you guys know, in case you were not familiar with that. Um, I mean, it doesn't look bad. Who asked me? Period. It doesn't look bad in the charts. It dropped a lot from May 21st or 2021. It dropped all the way to $9. So that's concerning. I don't know why it dropped. I don't know this company. So you might want to investigate why it dropped from the all time highs, which was $44, which is more or less where it is right now. Okay, so that's gonna be the resistance right here. Okay, so $43. So it dropped all the way from there to $9, and then it's been pumping since last year of 2024. I don't know what the good news are or why is it pumping, but just keep in mind that right now it is at a resistance. Okay, unless you get confirmation that it's moving above the resistance, then I mean you're trading with a very little room for profits. Um, so so think about that, consider it, and then make your move. Whatever makes sense to you. I'm just telling you what I see in the technicals. It had a big pump. It dropped. It stayed there for like 2 years, and then it pumped again this year to the same amount where it was 3 years ago. So if it repeats the cycle again and drops, you might be stuck in this company for a little while. So I don't know what it does. It says Technology Inc. Finance, rental, leasing. So if you see potential and you see that they're opening, news on opening more stores or whatever they do, and you see a big future, it might continue up. But if they keep doing the same thing they were doing 3 years ago, then I don't know how this company is gonna move up from there, and how you can make money out of this. All right, let's continue. Thank you for the follow period. Appreciate it, and appreciate the likes, guys. If I answer your question, give me some likes. That's the only charge for being in the live and for answering your question. So give me some likes, and I appreciate that. If you guys are gifting me, sorry, I need to have like a way to set it up so that I can see it on my phone. And thank you for giving me gifts. I know some of you guys add some gifts, but I don't see them because I see in my computer, and usually on my computer I don't have that option where you see all the gifts that people give you. So So if I haven't thanked you for the gifts, I'm thanking you in advance. So appreciate that, and keep the likes coming. Julie, what is PE and AMD? Oh, you missed that part, Julie. So it's a P ratio. So it's basically what the earnings of the company are in comparison um, to how expensive the company is. So how much money are they bringing, and how much money they make in earnings versus what the price of the stock is. And usually that's one of the things you want to look at. I mean, there are many things that you can look at the company to know if it's a good company or bad company, but that's one of the key items that you want to look at to know if a company is expensive or it's cheap. And I compared Nvidia with AMD, which those two companies kind of do the same thing, and we looked at the PE ratio to see which one would be a best buy if you were trying to get into a position in one of those companies. Which one gives you more money, or has more probability of making you a profit? So that's basically what we talked about with the PE ratio. So um, just to explain it really quick, if Nvidia, so and let me change the color. If NVDA has a P ratio, so PE ratio of, I think we said, what was it? 46. So it has $46, which means I have to invest $46 to make $1. And AMD, which is another chip company, I think the P was 85, I think. That's what we saw, which means I have to put in $85 for me to make $1. Now, the stock Nvidia is more expensive. Okay, it's 135. AMD I think is 114. So even though Nvidia's stock is more expensive, the PE ratio is cheaper, which means they create a lot of revenue, and for me, it would be a better choice to enter into this position because it has a lower PE ratio. I have to put in less money to make $1 as compared, if I compare that with AMD, I have to put in 85, so almost double. So that's basically what we went over a couple minutes ago, Julie. Emmanuel, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it, Emmanuel. Get a copy of the book. Absolutely. Just send me a message in TikTok with your email, and I'll forward it to you tomorrow. I was just about to make a Coinbase account, but they asked for my social security. Should I be worried? Hungry. I'm 18. I'm looking into trading. You were about to make a Coinbase account. What does that mean? Coinbase is a let's see. This is Coinbase. You mean the stock, or you were opening a broker's account to buy Coinbase? Is that what you mean? Uh, I don't know. I don't know if that was a question. Maybe trying to open a broker's account to buy Coinbase. But you do have to enter your social security. That is for tax purposes, because if you make money in the stock market, you do have to pay tax. Okay. Eventually, at the end of the year, you get a form from your broker saying that this is how much you invested, this is how much you made, and you're gonna get hit with a either short-term tax or long-term tax. Depending on how long you held the stock for. So, but it's totally normal for a broker to ask for your social security. Uh, so you want P ratio relatively low. Yeah, I mean, if it's a good company, like I said, like Google, right? Google, I know it's a powerful company. It has a lot of potential for the future. So for me to look at this company and know that it has a lot of big plans, and because I already studied this company, and then looking at the PE ratio being $18, I mean, I only have to spend $18 to make $1, and that those are pretty good odds to me. Because most of the stocks, I mean, let's take a look at Tesla. All of you guys know Tesla, right? Makes cars, and they have plans for a robot, and the self driving, the full self driving. So they have a lot of plans. It's a good company, but right now if you look at the P ratio, okay, the price to earnings, it's $192. So you have to put in $192 to make $1. To me, that's a very expensive stock in a very expensive company with a high PE ratio. So I have to put in a lot of money just to make $1 for a company that I know has a lot of potential in the future, but right now it's very expensive. And this happens, when the company doesn't make enough money, but the price of the stock is very high. Okay, know what I mean? So price to earnings ratio, PE ratio. The I'll say it again. The price of the company, or the stock is very high compared to the money they're making. Okay, and you get an average. There are some. I know there's a formula to get that number, which in this case is 192. Okay, so it's very expensive. I wouldn't enter into Tesla right now, even if it get pumping, because the fundamentals of Tesla are okay. They're good, but right now they're struggling a lot. They're not selling enough cars. They have a lot of speculation on the robo taxi, which releases next month. I haven't heard anything about the taxi getting delayed, but I also haven't heard anything about the taxi coming out next month. They announced it a couple months ago that it was coming out in June, but I haven't heard anything. So right now the stock is pumping on just speculation. I do hope that they release it in June and the stock continues that pump. I'm not in that position in Tesla, but it's nice to see this stock go up. But if they don't release the robotaxi in June and they delay it again, you're gonna see this stock dump. Uh, Period. So terrible volume. Jordan, which with what stock? Terrible volume. Art. Period. Jordan 34. See, what are you currently holding trading? Art. I'm holding Nvidia. So I'm planning to get out of that position. Hopefully, maybe tomorrow, maybe Wednesday, maybe Thursday. One of these days, definitely before earnings next Wednesday. So I'm crossing my fingers. I hope that Nvidia gets to 140, and that's my exit plan. My other exit plan is if it drops under 30, then I'm selling because my average is 110. So right now I am $20 or $25 per share above. So in the positive. So if it goes to 130 or below before Friday, then I'm getting out of that position. If it goes to 140, then I'm also getting out, or anything in between. But it's got to happen this week. Risking 2 points. Jordan, what do you mean? Love Dumb. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the likes, guys. If I answer your question, I would appreciate a like to the live. That helps me create a better algorithm for other people to follow. So, thank you. Anything at Ticker Bull? Ticker Bull, what is that? If you can give me a ticker symbol, I can maybe look at it. Coinbase account, bro, to buy crypto. A Coinbase account to buy crypto. Okay. I don't do Coinbase. I don't do crypto. If you can create a Coinbase account, I mean, my understanding is that you have to get a broker's account. But maybe a Coinbase has another service where you just buy specifically crypto. I think that's what it is. I think I've heard of it. But I don't do crypto. How did you get into trading, Brandon? How did I get into it, or what is that the question? Like how I got into trading? Well, I I heard of it. Okay, I heard of it from first of all I heard of it from my wife. Okay, years ago, and she wanted well, she told me about it, right? And then I started to investigate. Then I started to trade. I was a trader, and then I started to lose money, and then I started to win money, and I kept going back and forth, winning money, losing money, and I said, I know this stuff has a lot of potential, uh, but I don't want to gamble. I don't want to gamble because all the earnings I was getting, I was losing them because I had no idea what I was doing. I was just trading and getting money, but not knowing how I made that money. Okay, it was just one of those trades that I would do if the stock was red. I would try to buy low and then wait for the stock to pump and get out of the position. So I was just trading random stocks. I was not looking at fundamentals. I was not looking at PE ratio. I was not looking at plans for the future for that company. So that really kind of woke me up when I lost a lot of money the first couple of years. It kind of woke me up and said, I really like this, but I want to do it the right way. And then I started to educate myself on this. I bought a couple of courses, workshops. I I had a mentor, or I have a mentor. I don't really go to him one on one anymore, but I'm still part of the group, okay, where he is in, and I always follow his news. I follow what he shares with the group, and then I ask the community, okay, we have a community along with the mentor, and then we share, what stuff is going on in the market, and we ask the questions that we need to ask, that we have, and stuff like that. So that's basically how I got into the trading, or into trading, just because out of frustration, because I really wanted to know how this worked to make money, because I knew I made money, but I didn't know how I was making money. So I wanted to know how to make it the right way, how to make it so that it could be consistent. Okay, so that's a little bit about that. Any ETFs you recommend besides VOO, Daniel? I mean, I can't recommend. I mean, you know the routine. Most TikTokers, if they're serious about this business, they will not recommend. And if you guys hear someone or see someone on TikTok telling you, "Hey, I recommend this. If you join my live, you're gonna make millions of dollars, and or I'm gonna turn 1,000 into 30,000." That's just a bunch of BS. So just be careful with that. Just full warning. I come from a group that had a lot of people, get ripped off because of that. And first when I started, I would watch a lot of these people, and I would hesitate to enter into their groups because they were charging crazy amount of money to just get into their group, and anyways, so just be careful with that. If you guys see that and somebody's just encouraging you to buy and pay for their program, none of them are going to give you recommendations. Okay, one, because of legal issues, and two, because they shouldn't give you recommendations, because your situation is different than the situation of that person. Okay, that person might have $10,000 to risk and lose. You might not have that room. Okay, so it's totally different for every single person. But I can show you what stocks I invest in, which are the S&P 500, which tracks the I mean the SPY, which tracks the S&P 500. I mean the VOO does the same thing. They track the S&P 500. It's just a little bit cheaper usually than the SP. The QQQ, which tracks the Nasdaq, which are the 100 companies of the United States, mainly technology. This is a good stock if you're young, if you're like in your 20s and you're trying to retire by the time you're 40, 50. QQQ is a good stock because it is more volatile, but it does have better returns. So if you're planning to buy QQQ and retire next year, it's probably not a good idea because it might drop heavily because of how volatile it is. Because it has a lot of technology in it, and technology tends to be volatile. So SPY, QQQ, VOO, VTI, all of these are pretty good stocks that track the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq. AI is taking away Google's money maker, the search bar getting used less and less. Oh, you're talking about like Google, like the Google search bar? Yeah. I mean, I think they when Apple announced this plan to separate from Google in the future, they did mention that the search on Google, or what, the search on Google or the search on Safari, okay, one of those two things they shared. And they say that for the first time in history, the people are not searching or using the search bar for information. for the first time in history, it dropped. So that should give everyone a warning that a lot of people are just stepping away from typing and searching on Google, and now they are asking probably AI. So yeah, so absolutely, man. WKC, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Appreciate guys being here again and here in the live. And if you guys can gift me a like as I answer your question, I really appreciate it. And if I don't answer your question, you're just watching and you like the content, you like the answers, you like a little bit of the knowledge that I have, and I share it with you. Tap the screen. That's the only thing I ask in return. Listening and tapping. Thank you, Julie. Appreciate it. Um, Dre Selfmade. GME. Is that GameStop? I don't know the ticker symbol, but I think that's GameStop. Yeah, GameStop. So, GameStop. I think I talked about this the other day. GameStop is, as you can see, is in that channel that it pumps to 30 and it drops to 20 and it pumps to 30, and it's been doing that ever since that big drop in May, when they pumped the stock because I think it was the Roaring Kitty, the guy that pumped the stock back in 2021. He said something, or there was some kind of news, and the stock pumped all the way to like $64. But for me, I mean, this is not a good stock to invest in. Again, for me, because I mean, I don't really see potential in GameStop. GameStop has been closing a lot of stores, the non-profitable stores, but still they're closing stores, and I think they got some revenue to invest in crypto, and more specifically Bitcoin, I believe. And but other than that, I mean, I haven't heard any plans for the future for GameStop. So trading in into GameStop is gonna have that little channel where you either profit. What is it right now? It's at 27. So your move is for the stock to go to 30, 32, and then drop again. So you have two, three, $4 that you may or may not earn from each stock. So for me, it's just a very slow move. There's not a lot of volume, which means not a lot of people trade this stock. So not the best stock for me to really trade. Um, let's see. Okay, so I analyzed that one. WFA, you're a high school teacher. Aren't you young? Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I'm in my 30s. So if I look young, thank you for the compliment. But I'm in my 30s. I'm in my early 30s, but I am in my 30s. I've been teaching for, this is my 8th year teaching. So I started, I mean, you can do the math. So and I plan to retire before 45. So I still got some years to be to be a teacher for. I mean, if I can retire in the next 10 years, that's eventually my goal. Not have to do teaching anymore. I like it, but I mean this sometimes, and I'm not kidding, and I'll show you, at one point, sometimes in the morning, okay, before the tariffs and before the market was like crazy going up and down, in the morning from 6:30, before 8:30, I was already making $300 or $400, okay, in the stock market. That's how much I earn teaching all day. So I started seeing the value of my time. I said, well, if and that was like 30 minutes. Sometimes it would take me 30 minutes to make $200-300 on a quick day trade. Okay, very dangerous. So day trade is very dangerous. But anyways, some days I was making $300, $400. When I was swing trading, or now that I'm a swing trader, I'm making sometimes 1,000 every month, 2,000, 3,000. This past month has been very good to me, or the past couple months, because I bought the dip when the stocks went down, because of the tariffs. I kept buying stocks as the stocks went down, and now I am positive about $20,000 in about 2 months, just with Nvidia. Okay, I have Google and I have Amazon, so I bought those two stocks yet. For those stocks, I'm still not gonna be out of the position probably until maybe June, July. But with Nvidia, I am positive 20K. Okay, So to me, that is, I mean, that's that's more than I make in 2 months at my job. And that I did that. I mean, I haven't even touched the money. I didn't do anything. I just bought the dip as it went down, and now I'm about to collect this week. So I'll be closing that position this week. So to me, that is way more attractive than trying to teach, for the rest of my life. So pays more, gives you more freedom. Trading isn't gambling. No, no, it's not. I didn't say it's gambling. I said it's gambling if you are if you're buying the wrong stock. If you're buying the stock hoping that it goes up or hoping that it goes down, if you short it, that is gambling. If you choose a company that you don't know the fundamentals, that you don't know if that company is a good company, if it's a pump and dump company, pump and dump means that it goes up and it goes down, and you buy crossing your fingers hoping it goes up, that is gambling. Okay? Because it's like you going to the casino. No, I put an example the other day where you go to the casino, play the roulette, throw the ball, and hoping that it lands on green and or not green, black or red. That's what you do with bad companies. Okay, with good companies, it's not gambling. I definitely 100% agree with you. He's saying he felt like he was gambling. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Period. I don't know what to call you, man. You have just like a period on your user, so I'm just calling you period. Is it P ratio? Oops, sorry. Is it P ratio? I have a lot of comments. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to move as fast as I can with the comments. And again, if you guys can drop the likes, I'm trying to leave before 11 with 20. Oops, with 20,000 likes. So that'll be a new record for the live. So if you guys can tap to the screen, appreciate it. Nvidia, goodbye right now. Oh wait, let me read the comments before that. I know I had a couple. P ratio more important when you trading futures or options. I don't trade futures, and the only options I do are with my own money. So if I have stocks, and I'll talk in a different live, I'll talk about options and give you a little bit of insight of what that is. For those of you that keep hearing options, that's a big thing in the market, but that's also kind of betting against the market. So I'll talk a little bit. That'll be for a different live, or maybe I'll make a video. If you guys haven't checked my profile, I have one video that I just created last week on how to read charts. That's like the very basic of explaining what candles are, and what the body of a candle is. What does that mean? Like the little shadow that you see on the candle or the body. What did that mean? And it's just very basic. But I'm gonna be creating a series of videos, and you guys can check them in my profile. So let's keep going. How often do you live? Every day, Monday through Friday, 9 to 11. When do you buy? When do you buy rights? What does that mean, money? What do you mean rights? I did Palantir call today. What are your thoughts? Palantir. Remember, if you guys have been here in the live for the past 30 minutes, remember when I talked about P ratio? Do you remember when I said usually stocks that have a high P ratio? Um, let's see, what's Palantir's ticker symbol? PLTR. Um, when stocks have a high PE ratio, that means they are very expensive to buy. Here's my here's my only thing with Palantir. I mean, if you are making money with Palantir or have made money in the past, props to you. Okay, I haven't had the courage to buy Palantir for two reasons. Okay, number one, I'm gonna look at the weekly chart on Palantir. Palantir in March 2023 was a $7 stock, and because of news of the CEO being friends with Trump and Palantir, creating good technology and stuff like that, the stock went bananas. It went up like crazy, all the way to 131 now. Now, because the stock has moved up so fast in a very short period of time, it has a very high PE ratio of ton 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 $565. And I explained earlier, you know, if you want a very easy concept to understand PE ratio, it means that for you to make $1 in Palantir, you have to invest $565. Okay, so for me to make $1 and invest 565 is just too much. It's not worth it. Okay, that's number one. And then number two, Palantir hit a resistance at around the same price where it is right now, which is 125, 126. In order for Palantir to break that resistance, I mean, you would have to see a green candle close fully above that resistance. And as you see, there was one that closed above, two that closed above, three, but now it's breaking it back down. And on top of that, the third one is a freebie. When stocks when they pull away from the SMAs, which are the averages for the last 20 days, the last 50 days is the green, and the last 200 days, which is the orange. When they pulls away from those simple moving averages, then they typically tend to get back and retouch one of them. Here with Palantir, I see that it's been reclaiming the 50, as you see here. Let me mark it. It's been reclaiming the 50 right there and the 50 again here. And here it broke through, but it reclaimed here. And now it's just pulled away, far away from the 50. So as of today, I mean, it's all the way at 126 when the 50 is at $99. Okay, and even then it's expensive, but it just pulled away so far away from the $99. Now, Palantir is a great company. Okay, it's a great company, and I do think that it in the future, it probably is going to be $1 trillion company. Okay, maybe in 5 years, maybe in 10 years, but at this moment, it's a very expensive company. So if you're trying to trade it and collect tomorrow or next week, I don't know that it's gonna keep moving up. I think if anything, it's gonna make a correction and then maybe continue that trend if it continues to have good news. Um, but I mean, it's a very expensive company for me at this point. Maybe in a couple years when the PE ratio goes down and the fundamentals of the company are still there, then maybe I consider some to enter into some positions. But as of now, I wouldn't touch this stock. Uh, till August. Okay, so you did options. So you got options a call for until August. Okay. Um, I mean, I that's a good way to do options because you don't have an expiration date until August, but I don't know how much room it has to keep moving up. It may move up. I don't know. For now, I think it's gonna be in resistance, but I mean, by August, it may be higher than this. It has to reclaim the resistance though. Okay, so it has to make it turn it into support so that you know that it's going to continue to move up. So best luck to you. Um, where do you get all your news from? The stocks or for the stocks? Period. Two sources. I look at the news in the afternoon, and I just go to a web page that's called Finbis, or in the morning, early in the morning, I get the news from the group that I told you that I am in, because the creator of this group, he pays for a service. He pays a lot of money for this service. I'm not exactly sure why. It's probably like a $300 subscription or something like that. So he pays that. I don't know if it's weekly or monthly, but he gets the news as soon as they come out. He gets them through that service, and then he shares that with the community that we have. And then I get my news for the rest of the day. And then in the afternoon, I look at Finbis or any other sources if there's anything that happens. But typically, the big news happen either over the weekend or in the morning. Okay, in the afternoon, they're usually pretty slow because in other time zones, it's already late at night, so nothing really happens late at night sometimes. Google is trash. Calihan. I mean, it's got a lot of potential, man. They reported earnings. I don't know if you watched the earnings. I don't know them from the top of my head, but Um, you see, I mean, they had earnings. They beat EPS. They beat the revenue. So if you're talking about earnings and you calling it trash, I I don't know what to tell you. They've been reporting good earnings for the past year, every quarter. So I would say, based on the data, I'm not giving my opinion, right? My opinion is trash. That is trash. My opinion on whether a stock is good or not, it doesn't count. What I care about is the data. What does the data show me? Okay, is the data telling me that this is a good stock? Is the facts telling me that this is a good stock? That's what I care about. Okay, not what I think, or oh, I think Nvidia is trash, and because I think Nvidia is trash, do you think it's gonna drop? No. So, but the data supports that Google. I'm sorry, not Nvidia. That Google is a good company. It has a lot of future. It may not be here in 10 years. I don't know. Nobody knows that. But as of now, it's showing a lot of potential. Um, is Nvidia a good buy right now? H team. Nvidia has earnings next week. I wouldn't play earnings. Earnings could go either way. If they have some really good guidance, then Nvidia could go up to all-time highs, which is around 150. But if the guidance is not as great, or the market just simply they don't like it, because I mean guidance could be great, earnings could be great, but if the market simply says, you know what, Nvidia is overbought, it's time for Nvidia to correct. I'm sorry, oversold, and it's time for Nvidia to correct. Nvidia is gonna drop. Okay, Nvidia is gonna drop. So the market does whatever the heck they want. Um, Even if earnings are great, the stock could still drop. So I would wait. If it was me, I would wait until after earnings. Yo, pawn calls, bro. Uh, Norberto, thank you for joining the live, man. I didn't understand your question. Can you ask again? Let's see. Is this long term or short term? For which one? The one and only. For which one? What are you talking about? And guys, thank you for the follows. Lala, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. And if you guys haven't tapped the screen yet for the likes, please go ahead and do that. And I really appreciate it. If I'm answering your question, and if you like my honesty, please go ahead and tap the screen. Give me some likes. I did Palantir call until August. I need your thoughts. Oh, okay. So you did Palantir. So pretty much what I just shared that was it you that asked that question or somebody else? Oh yeah, it was you, Anthony. So um, I mean I just told you it hit all time highs. It is at all time highs right now. Um, I don't know, man. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know if Palantir is gonna go up. I did say that it is a very expensive stock right now. So for you to make a profit with Palantir, at if you bought at 120 or 125, which is pretty much where it was today, you're leaving very little room for gains. But I mean, they might have really good news in the summer. Sometimes we have catalyst news that pump the stock to the moon, and that's the case of Palantir. It's been happening a lot. So if you have a call until August, I I mean I it's a very expensive stock, but you probably did your research and you thought it was a good choice to do, or to make. So best of lucks, and I do hope that you get some money out of that. If you're an investor, buy what will stay long term and DCA when it drops. Um, buy what will stay long term. And dollar cost average. Yeah, absolutely, Calijon. I couldn't agree with you more. If you're a long term investor, okay, difference. Trader, you buy and sell. Investor, you buy and leave it there for 10, 20, 30 years. So Calijon says that if you are an investor, you buy and you leave it, and then you dollar cost average, which means every time it drops, you buy a little more. So you never go all in. If you have $1,000 and the stock drops, maybe you put in 200. If it drops more, maybe another 200. If it drops even more, maybe another 200, and you keep doing it. Okay, because you never know where the bottom is. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. If you think you know where the bottom is, please share it with everyone else. We would love to know where the bottom is. Truth is, nobody knows. The pros who've been at this for 20, 30 years, they don't know where the bottom is. So they do the same thing. They dollar cost average, right? They buy little by little, and then by the time the stock rebounds, they have a good average. So they tend to be profitable because they got the stock every time it was dropping. If you day trading, just play the momentum, not the fundamentals. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you use different kind of indicators when you day trade. I know a lot of them use the VWAP to know like the average volume, and they of course they look at smaller time frames like the 1 minute, the 5 minute, maybe the hour. Absolutely, yeah. But I don't day trade. It's very dangerous. For me, I had a bad experience day trading. Sometimes I do like just with speculative money, just to kind of make a couple bucks. But for the most part, I make more money swing trading than day trading. Okay, but that's just me. Some of you guys who have been day trading for a long time, then you might be more profitable than swing traders because you can make a lot of money. But I mean, if you're day trade, you know you can make a lot of money, but you also know you could lose a lot of money. So you gotta be ready to control those emotions, and also um, you gotta be ready to be in front of the screen all day. And I don't really enjoy that. I rather just be on the screen for a couple hours, then take the day off, and then maybe trade a different day where I can get some profit. So that's just me. I value more my time than being in front of the screen all day. What are your thoughts on Nvidia? And Jalen White. Nvidia, it's doing pretty good. It's got a lot of good news. The stock has been pumping. I think it's got a lot of resistance at 135, as you can see. I mean, it's been in that range for the past 4 days, hitting 135, 136, somewhere around that area. If it does break that, I don't know where's the stock right now. Um, I haven't even looked at the futures. So right now it's at the same range. So 135, 135, 32, 22. Um, so if it does break that resistance, it's got a lot of room to go to 140, and that's another resistance. Now I think it's gonna, if it does break the resistance of 135, then it's got room to go to 140. But I think it's gonna stay there until we have earnings next week. Uh, let's see, pain. Oops. Oof. I got a lot of comments. I need to read a little faster. Okay, so I got Nvidia, Pawn. Anyone have Sita, the one and only? I don't know. I mean, I don't know if people have that. I think I looked at that stock the other day, and it wasn't great. What are your thoughts on Nvidia? I got that. Pawn. Norberto, Pawn. What is Pawn, man? I saw my CrowdStrike stock today, and I got in 38 and sold 80. Hats off to you, man. I mean, that's what, like a $40 profit. Is it 70? Yeah, about 40 something dollar profit per stock. Awesome, man. Good job. Good job. Again, making money out of the market is not easy. Taking profits and exiting at a good time is not easy. I think that's one of the hardest things that a lot of the mistakes that a lot of us make when we want to get more, and we want to wait because we think, oh, it's gonna go $2 more, okay, $1 more, and you just keep waiting, and sometimes it just goes down, and you lost all the profits, or you lost much of the profit that you could have made. So if you got out, you made money, congrats to you. Best platforms to get latest economic updates for different stocks. Um, I use Fimbis, but that's more general. It gives you news about, not only about stocks, but it gives you news about what's going on in the world with the economy that is connected to the stocks. So um, I know TradingView has an option where you can pick a specific stock. Uh, let's see if I can show you that. So this is what I use. I use TradingView, and then if you click on news, okay, you get all the news here, and then you can narrow it down by looking at a specific stock. Okay, and it'll give you news about that stock only. I typically don't look at just one stock. I like to look at um, how the economy is doing in general. But here, I mean, I could do it for you just so you can take a look at it. I'm looking at Nvidia, and then all the Nvidia news come out, right? Everything that has to do with Nvidia. Okay, so TradingView, I think it's a great tool. Finviz is one for like more general information. Of course, you can also do it here. I um I use both TradingView and Finviz. Excuse me. Let's see. Like you said, you just buy. You wait. What? Like you said, just buy the dip. Yeah, Norberto. Buy the dip when you know the company. When you know the company is gonna recover, because it has a lot of plans for the future and it's got a lot of potential. And there's nobody else that's competing with this company, like in the case of Nvidia, which I did. Um, so that's why I bought the dip, because I trust Nvidia. I trust the CEO. I know it's a good company and it's gonna be a company that's gonna be here, in the next 10 years. What's your opinion on iTaught project Kaysen? I don't know that company, man. iTaught. I'll check it. I'll check it at the end of the live. So give me a minute. Follow user 37. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. And if all of you guys, if you guys are new to the channel, you can help me and give me a big support if you tap the screen and give me some likes and increase the algorithm for this live so that I can get more people into this content, so that I can share more information with everyone who joins me on the live. So if you tap the screen, really appreciate that. Let's see, user Greasy, thank you again for the follow. Thoughts on sand, Widow? Sand. What is sand? Sandstorm gold. Oh, gold. I think gold had been. Let's see. It had been pumping. Oh, non-energy minerals, precious metals. I mean, I don't know the company. I can look at the technicals. I can see that it's hitting. Was trying to break resistance from back in April of 2022. So it was downtrending for a long time, trying to recover. Right now it's pumping, and it's gonna probably hit this resistance somewhere around the $9. It is already at 827, so it's gonna hit that resistance, probably bounce back, probably break. I don't know what the news are on this company, or I don't know the fundamentals. So all I can say is that, I mean, it's been pumping, it's been recovering, but it's got some resistance up there. So you might want to wait for the stock to break the resistance, maybe retest it, and then see if it's going to continue to move up, because it's got a lot of room. It had highs of $10, but again, when stocks don't have a lot of room for profits, because I mean the highs from 5 years ago were 10.56. So if you're buying at $8, you only have what, $2 that you can make in profit. There are stocks that can give you more volatility, and I'm pretty sure, I don't even have to look at this stock, but I'm pretty sure the volume in this stock is pretty low, just based on the moves that it makes, because he hasn't really moved for a long time. So I hope that helped a little. CoreWeave gonna be on the next big one. CoreWeave, Kevin, I don't know that company. What does that one do? Yes, bro, I just sold. Awesome, man. 38, a thousand shares. Wow. Norberto, get us some coffee, man. Invite us to eat somewhere. So good job, man. That's a hefty, pretty good profit. So good job. I don't know how long you held that for, but good job. Do you think SITA is a good one to invest in? Let's look at SITA. You've been asking a couple times. So is that crypto? I don't know what that is. I remember looking at that the other day. Mobile. Okay, I see it. I remember it. Why do people like this company? I've been asked a couple times about this. I think. I mean, look at this, man. It's in a downtrend. It's not doing very hot. If I'm not mistaken, somebody said that this company made a reverse split, and reverse splits are really bad for companies. because they're trying to either save themselves from getting delisted from the Nasdaq or the S&P. So those are not good signs. When companies do reversals, reverse splits, that's not a good thing. You can look it up, Google it, find the information about this company, but I wouldn't put my money into this, just because of how much it has been dropping, and it might have done that reverse split because it's got a very bad drop in value. So look more information about it. Check if it's done a reverse split. I wouldn't put my money into this. What would you put money into something that's been dropping when there are stocks that are going up? Okay, there are better stocks. Why do sometimes us, and including me when I first started, I don't understand sometimes. Maybe, I mean, it's a lack of information, obviously, but sometimes it's something as simple as not trying to reinvent the wheel. Okay, the wheel is already invented. Okay, the wheel is the stocks that really work, the great stocks, the stocks that are going to be here, the Costco, the Walmart. Those stocks will be here when we're gone, and those stocks will always be needed by people. So for me to try to hit a home run with a company that I don't know, with a company that I'm hoping that it goes up, I'm trying to reinvent the wheel. You know that expression. When the wheel it's already working for other stocks. So I'd rather just not do that. Keep it simple. Not hope that the stock is gonna go up. Know that the stock is gonna go up. Okay, when you invest in good companies. Um, Pan is about to go crazy, says Norberto. All right, guys. Again, if you guys can help me with the tabs, I'm about to get going in about 6 minutes, so I'm gonna try to get to all these questions very quick. Um, so, bro, Pan is about to go crazy. Clean swing. I'm for July $200 call. Pawn. I'll put it on my here, just so I can look at it. Pawn. Oh, Palo Alto. Yeah, I remember Palo Alto. I remember Palo Alto when it was like I think 140. Um, and then since then I stopped looking at it. So it had a dip, just like all the stocks, and it's kind of like trying to break out. It's gonna hit all time highs though, and then I don't know if it's gonna break that. So about $200, the all time highs. So it's gotta get there before it can make more money. So I don't know if it's got good news, Norberto. If you can share that with us. Let's see. Do you think SITA is a good one to invest? No. Is resistance the higher after it drops? Is resistance the high after it drops? Resistance is what you see here. So this line here, white, it means that the stock hits a certain price and then it goes down, and it hits it again and then it goes down, and it hits it again and then it goes down. So that price point where it's hitting, that's called resistance because it's not letting the stock go through that. And a lot of the traders, they look at this. They look at resistance, and just like you look at it, there are millions of other traders are looking at the same thing, and they are thinking the same thing you're thinking. They say, "Well, I know because there's a lot of resistance at 200. Well, this is where the stock is gonna stop because there's a lot of resistance." So what they do is they just sell once the stock hits 200 because they're looking at the same chart you're looking at. They have the same program that you have. So all of these millions of traders around the world and in the United States, they're looking at this same thing. So if they want to, let's say they bought here at Palo Alto, and they know that there's a resistance right there, well, they say, well, already, if they are traders, I already have a profit of like $30-$40, so I'm just gonna sell here because I know a lot of other people are looking at the same thing, and they're probably gonna sell off too. So I'm gonna sell off first. I might even sell at 190, just to be safe. So so that's the resistance period. Can you explain the negative but today next to break even price for Robinhood? I haven't looked at Robinhood in a long time. What's a ticker for Robinhood? Oh, Hood. There you go. I always lose it here on my list. Hood, um, resistance at 66. That was the all-time high from back in February. So I know they bought a company, and that's why the stock pumped up again. But I think it's gonna probably have a double top, which is another pattern. Hits a double top, maybe go down. If it does break it, it's probably gonna try to reclaim it and then turn it into support and go from there. United Health, Damon, United Health, they've been doing pretty good, man. Well, let me correct that. The company's doing pretty bad. They are in a lot of trouble. The New York Times, they released an article where they said that the DOJ was investigating United Health because of fraud. It went all the way to 250. It lost 55% of its value, and it's been trying to recover because of inside trading. So a lot of people that work for United Health, the CFO, they bought stocks. So that's why it kind of recovered a little, but it's still, I don't know if the investigation is true or not. Here's the stock. I don't know if they actually committed fraud or not. So until I get more clarification, I will probably get some more stock. I did buy some at the dip, just because I said, well, I'm just gonna speculate and pretend like it's gonna stop here. So I'm in the positive right now, but I would not enter into more position unless I hear, if those news that came out are true or not. Do you do CETA? Do you like how CETA? No, I don't. How CETA looks. What is a good amount to start with? Fresh touch. To start investing or to start trading? To start investing, $100, okay, or $50, whatever you can put in your investment and not touch it in the next 10 years. Now, to start trading, you do need a little bit more money, because a lot of brokers, they limit you. If you're trading like daily, they mark you as a day trader, and you need a big amount to do unlimited trades. Um, Tesla, Damien, Tesla, like I mentioned earlier, it's been dropping. I'm sorry, it's been pumping, but on nothing. Okay, because the earnings were bad. Um, they are speculating that the robotaxi is coming out next month. They haven't said anything yet. I mean, they did say something 2 months ago that it was going to be released in June, but I haven't heard any news. So if that doesn't happen, I see the stock dropping. He said Tesla is a bad buy. P ratio to absolutely, yeah. Period, yeah. P ratio is very high for Tesla. I wouldn't get in that trade, but again, Tesla is very volatile. Okay, Tesla is for expert traders. If you are an expert trader and you know the company, and you know how to get into this company, how to get out, and have a really good plan, then there are a lot of people who make money in Tesla. I'm not saying you cannot make money, you can, but it's definitely for expert traders, not for novices, not for beginners, um, because of how volatile it is, and because it trades on no good data. There's bad data and the stock pumps. That usually doesn't happen for stocks. If the company has bad data and they're not making money, I mean, it makes sense that the stock drops. And the opposite happens with Tesla. They have bad reports, bad earnings, and then the stock pumps. Or the stock is pumping and then suddenly it drops. So it's a very volatile stock. It's good for day traders. I know day traders love this kind of stock because they don't look at the news. They just look at the candles, the 1 minute, the 5 minute candles, where Tesla is going, where it has support. So they look at different indicators to be able to make money with Tesla. But it is a pretty high expensive stock. Thoughts on Palantir? Very expensive stock. Palantir is expensive, and it also is at all-time highs right now, um, trading at around $126. So very expensive. P ratio very high, and very far away from the 50, the 20, and the 200 moving average. Can you explain what swing trading is, please? Nico, absolutely. So swing trading is very simple. Is when you buy stocks one day and you don't sell until either the next day or the next week or the next month. So you don't do the trade the same day. Day traders are the ones that trade when the market open, between the market open and the market close. Okay, they trade within that time frame, and they don't leave any positions open, which means they sell their stock either at a loss or at a profit. So they don't they they finish the day and they don't have any stock in the market. Okay, because they don't trust what happens overnight, or if the stock drops, they don't trust that, so they just close their positions. Um, Drayden, follow. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. And guys, if you can if I answer your question, give me a like, tap the screen. That's the only thing I ask in return, just so that I can get a better algorithm for TikTok and get more followers. Appreciate that. Yes. What are earnings? Earnings are just when the companies report how much money they made. All companies report earnings every 3 months, so in a trimester. So when they report the earnings, they explain how much money they made, how much money they spend, how much money they're planning to bring for the next 3 months. So they give a guidance what their plans are for the next 3 months. So all of that information is released when they have earnings. Okay, when they report basically how the company is doing. Apple, Signer, Apple is it's got a little bit of trouble with Trump, um, honestly, because Tim Cook, which is the CEO of Apple, he's trying to move the iPhone manufacturers to India. So he's trying to move them from China to India. Trump still doesn't like that because he wants iPhones to be made in the United States, and that's what dropped the stock a little bit because of that tension between Trump and Tim Cook. So, but I think Apple is a great company. It's one of those big companies that you see here. These are the Max Seven, the best companies in the United States, or the ones that bring the best revenue, I would say. So that's the only thing with Apple. Apple tends to be a stock that doesn't really move, and then one day it just pumps. Um, so yeah, so United Health, yeah, Damien, I explained United Health. I said that it's got a lot of problems. I need more clarification on whether they are really committed fraud or not with Medicare. Until I know, then I'm not entering into more positions in United Health. What's up, bro? Hey, Spider, what's going on, man? Thank you for joining the live. Palo Alto Networks and CoreWave, they told me it goes to 100, but got out. Oh, okay. All right, Norberto. I mean, you seem to be pretty experienced, man. So if you're making money on this, teach us something. Um, Trying to get out of my meta position I bought high 642 rookie mistake. Spider meta. I mean, you bought at 42. It's only at 40. I mean, it's not too bad. But just consider that Meta has a big gap uh, right there on the daily chart. So right here. And typically, gaps tend to get filled sooner or later. They get filled. So right now, it had a really good candle today. So tomorrow it might keep pumping. Markets might open green tomorrow. They had a relatively good day today, considering the bad news that happened Friday. The market didn't really react to that today, and then just recovered everything that they lost from Friday after the news were dropped. So they kind of stayed about the same, but I do see Meta with a good candle today. I don't expect Meta to drop tomorrow, so you might be able to get your money back. Um, so that's Spider, yeah. So if you can get your money back, I mean, it's already an expensive stock, but I mean, Meta is one of the big ones, one of the great stocks, but it was a little bit pricey. So CrowdStrike, Strife. So let's see, could be greedy when others are needy. Yeah, I mean that's the quote from Warren Buffett, right? Oscar Health, Law, Inverse News. Steven, what are the inverse news? I'm putting all my profits in Rigetti shares. My future self will be proud of me. Alberto, I mean, Rigetti has a lot of potential, but again, it's a technology that we don't know yet what it can do, whether it can be profitable or not. We just know it's quantum technology, which, I mean, based on the news, it's a kind of technology that it's going to accelerate processes that the computers now cannot. Uh, I'm not educated on quantum yet. I've been trying to look into that information a little bit more, But I mean, if it's money that you don't mind losing, and it's speculative at this point, I mean, 7 years from now, we might be talking, and you might be in your Rolls Royce driving. Do you use MTFA Zeus? No, I don't. What is that? Can you please take a look at QQQ? So really quick, QQQ. It had a really good green candle today. It's trying to recover the all-time highs, which sit at about 540. Old Tech is doing pretty good for the past week, and that's what drives the QQQ, because they track the Nasdaq, and Nasdaq is mainly technology. So um, I do see it pumping, but again, a big part of QQQ is Nvidia, and if Nvidia doesn't do well next week on earnings, I do see the QQQ dropping. Uh, Double tops, draw a fib and see where it lines up. For what stock, Steven? Um, for Amazon? I'll take a look at that in a minute. Thank you for the follow, Chente, Ben, Stada Quick. So, guys, thank you. Appreciate you guys following the live today, and also following me on my channel. I'm here Monday through Friday, 9 to 11. I'm already a little bit past my time because I do have a job in the morning, so I have to wake up for that job early in the morning. So I'm sorry if I don't get to all your questions. I'm just gonna get a couple more questions and call it a night. Just because, again, tomorrow I gotta wake up early for my day. So thoughts on Google, Darian? I went over Google earlier. Google is a good company. It's got low PE ratio. It's got a lot of it had good earnings, so I think it has a lot of room to move up. See, Alberto, growth value long term stock. Yeah, for Rigetti, yeah, absolutely. 4 hour and 15 minutes. Steven, uh, for Nvidia, right? You were talking about Nvidia. We'll look at. I'm sorry, Amazon. Thoughts on Google? So same thing. I just shared that. Missile XRP. I don't do really crypto, just because I'm not educated on crypto. I don't know the fundamentals. Paper trade, avoid early losses. Yeah, paper trade is Steven. Yeah, paper trade. You're completely right. Paper trade is the best way to kind of start training. Um, all right, so appreciate you guys being here. Is there somewhere I can text you? Vert, you can send me a message on TikTok if you're interested in the book that I have that you guys can use for free. It's just called the Trading Bible. I have a copy of PDF for that. I can give it to you for free. Just send me a message in TikTok and your email, and I'll share that with you guys probably tomorrow. So, all right. So again, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for dropping some likes. Thank you for following me in this channel, and I will see you tomorrow 9 to 11. So again, appreciate you guys giving me some of your time today, and we'll see each other tomorrow for a little bit more talks on how the stock market went. I expect a good day tomorrow. So we'll see that. We'll talk about that tomorrow. So see you guys. Have a great night, and see you tomorrow.